Hello and welcome to another episode of Hollie's Hotspurs, and today I'll be talking about the series All or Nothing. If you haven't watched them already, I've already done episodes 1, 2 and 3 and done a little review video, so if you want to watch that, click this link here to watch it. But today I'll be talking about episodes 4, 5 and 6. If you're new to the channel, please remember to hit a like on this video, comment what you think of the series so far and hit that subscribe button. Episode 4 is called Season Greetings, and from the name it kind of means what's happening. We go over the Christmas period. In the Christmas period we had to play 3 games within 7 days, which was a bit of a madness. We get an insight to how the physios had to try and maintain the bodies of all the players to ensure that they didn't pick any injuries up over this jam-packed holiday. In this episode as well, we actually finally get to see the reason why Hugo Lloris was out and why Gazaniga had stepped up, which happened against Brighton when Hugo Lloris broke his arm, and that's why he had been absent for most of the series. In that, Jose was plumbing into the players that we need to show more spirit, more aggression, show there we want to be there and we want to win, because like we keep saying, this bad mentality or negative mentality is just a current running theme throughout the Tottenham squad. And with this half-time talk, we actually go on to win that game 3-1, which is a bit of a madness. We then see a draw against Norwich, and then we have the dreaded Southampton game where we see Harry Kane go off the field injured, which was a massive blow for us. With that hamstring problem, we actually go on to lose that game, which actually really annoys me. 1-0, because you know what I don't like Southampton. Because we lost against them, my 2020 was kind of ruined from day one, and to be honest, it's gone down on the downward spiral with everything else that's happened. So to relive that on the documentary was not a prime moment for me. Then we all kind of see that after that game and the next day in the office that Kane is obviously devastated, but he highlights that it's something you can't really change. And you can kind of see the physios say that when you have to say to a player how long they're out for, you can see the pure devastation for themselves, but also for the team, for them not having them in the squad anymore. He also states how he's 27, and he says that at that time just goes so quick, and at 27 you haven't really got a lot of time left. So for me that was quite a bold statement to say, but one that I think is very true, and in a sense that I also think this backs up this idea that if we don't win anything next season, which is actually starting for us on Sunday, I genuinely think Kane will want to leave and want to try and better himself. The way Eriksen wanted to leave to win trophies, which kind of backfired for him. But anyway, we move. Obviously, I call this episode number 4, the Tanganga episode, because we actually really get to see an insight into the lad. I have loved Tanganga just from the way that he does his interviews. You can kind of see that, obviously we learn in the episode that he's Tottenham bred. You see he's very humble, and for his age at only 20, you can kind of see that he's got his head switched on and that he's taken every game as it comes. He's staying very grounded on the floor. And obviously we see his first game was against Liverpool, and although we went on to lose that game 1-0, it really showed that we needed him in the squad because he made some absolute worldy clearances off the line. And it was great to see it as well, to think that Jose's got someone for the future, and I'm very excited for Tanganga. We obviously have the running theme of Dele Alli coming up with random conversations. This one in episode 4 highlighted your favourite chocolate bar. I must admit Crunchy is my favourite. Curly whirly Deli, I don't really know what you're saying in that. It's too bloody long to chew the thing. You ain't got time to be gnashing on that. So yeah, curly whirly Deli, don't know what you're on about, son. But I do agree with you that the bounty is vile. Anyone that likes the bounty, mate, is something else. We then get to see a bit of an insight against the Middlesbrough game where Jose says that they will be hungry for it. This is their do or die kind of game. They like to play opposition higher up the leagues, and obviously Middlesbrough were the league below, so they would be fighting and ready to go. He also says that it is time to take the cup seriously, and that is music to my ears, and that should be music to every Spurs fan's ears, because whether it's an FA Cup or not, it's a trophy. We then go on to win the match, but once again Tanganga is the man of the moment. He nearly scores himself. He is star of the game, and rightly so. We get to see his little interview with the press conference afterwards, which is brilliant. So yes, Jose's definitely got one for the future. That is pretty much episode 4. Episode number 5 is called New Blood. It starts off with my good friend Daniel Levy talking about transfers and how that he reads everybody's emails. I think that's a lie, Levy, just saying that. The amount of people that probably slag you off in your emails, and the amount of people that today have been starting to write hashtag sign a striker and you still haven't, and this was also highlighted in this episode, that he said in January, even though it's hard to get players, we must sign a midfielder and a striker. Did that happen? No, but then he bucks the blame onto Jose because Jose wants a certain type of striker. None of us bloody know what that certain type of striker is, apart from Daniel Levy, so that makes me wonder. We then see this little clip, which I think is pretty funny. Take a look at this.
200 million's worth now. That was way before like Neymar's transfer. That's changed the game.
That's Harry's right foot. 200 million.
Not now, the hammy, mate.
I think it's just a bit of banter between the two, but it does kind of highlight how the transfer market has rocketed. But I also think this helps Levy to say, look, we can't sign these amazing players because we haven't got the funds, which is still a load of lies, but it kind of covers up the truth. Then we move on to the bit that I like to call the EastEnders part of the episode, and this is the tussle between Jose Mourinho and Danny Rose. Take a look at this.
They play every game. It's not fair.
So you want me to play?
No, it's okay. No, you're the manager, but you're saying to me, I was shit against Liverpool. I respect.
No shit.
Okay, I wasn't good. It wasn't my best game. Yeah, you're right, and I respect what you say. But other people have been shit in training, shit in games, but play every game and in the squad every game. It's not fair.
It's your perspective.
It's not fair. It's facts. But the whole changing room knows it's facts. Not fair. And Daniel, I'm going to see Daniel as well. So when Daniel's in, I'm looking at.
If I didn't really like Danny Rose too much, I definitely don't respect him now. Now, don't get me wrong, I know managers and players, they do have arguments, they do like to talk things out, they do like to pull each other aside, but this has really put me down. I just think, rightly so, Danny Rose asks why he's not playing. Jose tells him, and he doesn't like what he said, so then he has a hissy fit, which I think is wrong. He says why he doesn't think he's playing. He says, oh yeah, I know I'm not very good, but other players aren't very good. And then he says, but you're the manager, so you choose. So he kind of contradicts himself, which I really don't understand. And then he's like, well, I'm going to talk to Levy, as if to say, Jose, watch out, because I think I'm bigger than you, sort of thing. That's what I kind of got from it. Whether that's right or not, I don't know. And then I just think, for me, he thinks he's a prime left back. The man's nearly 30, if not 30. Like, I just don't understand his workings, personally. He has got on he's spent a lot of time at the club, and I respect him for that. But come on, man, you need to have a proper look at yourself. Just think it's pure arrogance, basically. Then we see Hugo is back, my captain, and you really see a different presence in the changing room, which is great. I mean, Harry's done a great job trying to do speeches. I don't think he's a natural born leader, as a sense, with vocabulary. On the pitch, that's something different, but he's like a silent leader, like Jose has announced. But Hugo Lloris, we don't really see a lot of it on the pitch as much, but in that change room, I was blown away. Then move to the Eriksen incident, where we kind of see Eriksen talking to Jose and Levy, and how that we will only let you go really if we get enough funds for you because of all the injuries we've had. And that's pure Jose. He's thinking more business than the actual player, which is fair enough. Obviously, Inter do that, so we actually see Eriksen leave in this episode as well. But we also see Danny Rose leave to Newcastle. We also see another guy come in, which apparently in the documentary is documented to be one of the players that lots of teams are looking for, and that is none other than Stevie B. So we see Stevie B come into, and we see that he has a little phone call with Jose Mourinho saying, you ready for the City game, which only means to me that he's starting the match. And starting the match, he does. We get to see the family and how they're all introduced into Tottenham, how they find their new house and things like that, which is really cool and really interesting. And of course, he plays the City game, and he does a bit of this. That City game was a madness. That's pretty much episode 5 done, and we move on to episode number 6. Episode number 6 is called Running on Empty. So beating Man City, we hear loads of things over the background saying, is the mentality changing? And at this point, I kind of think it is. See a little insight into Lamela, the guy that's always injured, and this features heavily in this episode, and how he's trying to recover from different types of injuries, and now that he's been at the club for a very long time. Nice part in this episode, we get to see Lucas meeting a young Brazilian fan at the stadium, which was really cute and really nice. I think it just added something to that episode that makes the players also seem, because they are human, which was good. We also then have the Southampton Cup game, and we are losing this game at half time, and then we get to see this from Hugo Lloris.
Defensively, we put 5 players, but we are not aggressive. I don't understand. It's too easy for them to come in the box. It is our responsibility, everyone with this fucking changing room.
Like I said, Hugo Lloris is probably a born speaker, and in this kind of highlights we don't really see this normally, because lots of people say Harry Kane should be our captain, and to be fair, I've said this also, but after seeing this video, Hugo Lloris is definitely my captain. After that, we go on to win the game 3-2. So that was an inspirational talk from Hugo, and he's led our team into a first victory for a very long time, which was even better. Jose explains by winning this game it's because we had a lot of spirit and the fact that we managed to have a great connection with the fans, which was brilliant. And I think it's 100% true. Then we have the Villa game where we see Sonny get injured. Not with his legs, but with his arm. There's a disgusting tackle. I can remember actually doing a video on it on that Villa game, and how he got, I don't even know how they just collided and landed funny, but it was a very strong tackle. And obviously Sonny stays on, and to be fair, after finding out after the game what had happened, I was very, very surprised that he did. But we go on to win that game, and then obviously the next morning we're back in the office at the training ground. Sonny has an examination by the physios, and they say we think we need to have an x-ray. The physios then go talk to Jose, and they're like, look, if it's bad, he might not play. And Jose's like, well, he's playing. We then find out that he's had a serious fracture, and he can't play basically. And our next game is against Leipzig, which is obviously a major blow for us, and you can tell that Jose is twiddling his thumbs. He keeps saying this famous quote that I picked up from one of the episodes, which was, I'm trying to play a chess game, but I've got no kings, I've got no bishops, I've got no nothing, but the spirit from the lads is really good. And I mean, this kind of pointed out to me that we are without Harry Kane, we are now without Sonny again. It was just an absolute madness. We then lead into the RB Leipzig game, which will be the start, I'm guessing, of episode number 7. So the latest 3 episodes have been brilliant, giving us an insight into the transfer dealings between talks, also between how we've managed to cope with that busy Christmas period, because it really gives you an insight on how Hugo Lloris is our captain and should remain captain for a very long time. Thanks again for watching to this video. It's taken me a while to make this, obviously starting my new job and thing, but thanks again for watching, it really means the world. And remember, come on you Spurs.